Architecture has always served as a window to the cultures that produced it. From the ancient Egyptian pyramids to contemporary skyscrapers, humans have always used architecture as a means of expressing their culture, worldviews, and moral principles. During the Ice Age, early human architecture started to develop. Even today, the early development of architecture is a little studied aspect when it comes to prehistoric human culture. The harsh and rapidly changing environment of the Ice Age presented challenges for our early human ancestors, forcing them to adapt more often than not. The earliest architectural structures that they built can even be seen as a reflection to their resourcefulness in adapting to these arduous challenges. People mostly lived in tiny semi-nomadic groups during the Ice Age, and because of this, their architecture was typified by compact, mobile structures like tents and huts that were simple to assemble and disassemble as they migrated from location to location. These portable structures were often constructed from materials like animal skins, branches, and bark, and they were intended to offer protection from the wind and the extremely cold temperatures that were ever so prevalent. Several locations throughout history have shown that quite a few structures that our ancestors from the Ice Age erected were also made of woolly mammoth bones, often referred to as mammoth bone houses. Isolated sites containing these innovative structures have been scattered around the United States and Canada. More often than not, though, mammoth bone houses have been more common to find in countries like Ukraine and Russia, particularly in the Siberian region of Russia. Unlike most mammoth bone houses, which consisted of the bones of 15 mammoths on average, there was a nearly 25,000-year-old massive structure found in Kostenki, Russia, that used up to 60 mammoths, and may have very well been the first large man-made structure ever created. Everyone is familiar with the mammoth. These now extinct creatures were a genus of elephant that lived during the Pleistocene epoch and are among the most recognizable animals of the Ice Age. These mammals were widely dispersed across the Northern Hemisphere, including North America, Europe, and Asia. Several different species of mammoths, the woolly mammoth, Mammothus primigenius, the Columbian mammoth, Mammothus columbi, and the imperial mammoth, Mammothus imperator. These massive mammals had thick fur coats to help them keep warm in the chilly, challenging conditions of the Ice Age. Compared to modern elephants, the trunk of the mammoths were longer and more flexible, making it easier for them to forage for food in the snow. Being herbivores, they primarily consumed grasses, though they were known for eating a wide range of other plants, including shrubs and tree bark. While there may have been no food shortage for them at their peak as a species, mammoths were also known to travel great distances to find food, which likely helped to ensure their survival during times of environmental change. One theory in regards to their unfortunate demise is that an asteroid or comet impact wiped them out. Despite this speculation, the exact reason for their extinction is a highly speculative and heavily debated one among scientists and researchers alike. Climate change is thought to play a major role in the extinction of this species, with the shrinking of the grasslands in which they fed off of. There may have been a combination of factors, though. As one can imagine, the likelihood of the mammoth being overhunted is high, and possibly in combination with the theory of their extinction being due to environmental factors. Studies suggest that the gestation period of a mammoth is 22 months and would only result in the birth of a single calf. This would be a clear indication that humans could easily overhunt mammoths in relativity to how many mammoths were being born. As far as overhunting goes, though, this would have been due to the great important source of food mammoths served for prehistoric humans. An average fully grown mammoth would have had well over half a ton of meat in it. When factoring in the mammoth's fat and bone marrow, just one of these massive animals could, from a speculated view, feed a tribe of 30 people for around 2 weeks. On top of being an excellent food source, the rest of the mammoth was heavily utilized by early humans, with the wool being used as clothing and blankets, and the bones and tusks being used for tools and building structures. As previously mentioned, many of these mammoth-made structures can be found all over the Northern Hemisphere. One very well-known one being the Mammoth Bone House in Metzerik, Ukraine, which is believed to have been built around 15,000 BC and was built using at least 15 to 20 mammoths. This notable and large variation of the structure is dwarfed in comparison to another, though. Found in Kostenki, Russia, is the incredibly old Mammoth Bone House, a unique architectural marvel that has fascinated archaeologists and the general public alike. The structure, located in the village of Kostenki in the Voronezh region of Russia, is believed to have been built about 25,000 years ago and is constructed entirely out of the bones of over a whopping 60 mammoths. It was in 2014 that this massive structure started to be excavated by a team of scientists at a site called Kostenki 11, which is roughly 480 kilometers south of Moscow. This is nearly one of 70 mammoth structures across Eastern Europe that has been discovered, and the third one in the nearby vicinity. The Mammoth Bone House of Kostenki has enormous size and is one of its most noticeable characteristics. Its length is over 12.5 meters in diameter, which may not seem that spectacular at all, but for the time was extremely impressive. Mammoth tusks and bones were used to build the walls of the construction, which was stacked in a crisscross pattern to produce a sturdy and long-lasting building. In order to preserve the bones and keep out the cold, a coating of clay and animal fat was applied to the bones. The ancient Kostenki people, whom we very likely believe to be the builders of the Mammoth Bone House of Kostenki, are a group of prehistoric hunter-gatherers who lived in the Voronezh region during the Ice Age. Nobody knows the Kostenki people's purpose of building the structure, but they are believed to have used it for a variety of purposes, including as a living space, a storage facility, or maybe even as a holy place of worship. Overall, the Kostenki people are known for their unique culture and advanced technology. It is also fair to say that they are most known for their construction of the Mammoth Bone House. Living in small semi-nomadic groups, they were primarily hunters of large game, such as mammoths and bison. The Kostenki people also gathered nuts, fruits, and berries. Evidence from the 30,000-year-old remains of a Kostenki male, when a bone chemistry analysis was conducted on it, showed that the diet makeup of this ancient man consisted of a high amount of fish. This has proved to archaeologists that these people had not only been your average hunter-gatherers, but also possessed the technology to fish. John Hoffaker of CU Boulder's Institute of Arctic and Alpine Research stated that the fishing activity shows these people were probably manipulating the environment with fish wires or traps. They appear to have been using their sophisticated technology to expand the range of their diet in comparison to Neanderthals. Hoffaker also added that evidence points to these Ice Age people not only hunting big game, but small game and birds as well by using darts, another technology not possessed by Neanderthals and most ancient Homo sapiens. The fact that they possessed darts leads us to another fascinating point. The Kostenki people themselves were extremely skilled flint knappers. They created a multitude of stone tools, including spear points, knives, and scrapers. Antlers and other bones were utilized to make tools such as needles and awls. One of these unique tools they developed was a type of flint tool that is today commonly referred to as a Kostenki point, and is widely considered by archaeologists to be among the most advanced in the world at the time. The Kostenki people had to be able to adjust to new circumstances in order to survive, because they lived in a harsh and continuously changing environment. They evolved novel technology and hunting techniques to survive the last glacial maximum, a time of harsh coldness and depleted food supplies. The fact that the Kostenki were able to create such a fascinating structure, such as the Mammoth Bone House, proves how advanced they were relative to anyone else in the world at the time. While there were many structures similar to this made out of mammoth bones, none compared to the sheer size of the Mammoth Bone House. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Also, make sure to share this with a fellow history lover and hit that bell button so you can get updates on our latest authentic ancient coin giveaways. We'll see you next time, only on Amateur Archaeology.